Hello, and welcome to the first episode of Why Are You Like This, the podcast dedicated to feeding my narcissism. No. What's up, everybody? I'm B Moore. You probably know who I am if you're already listening to this. If not, little rundown. I'm a rapper, producer, / whatever I feel like doing at the moment from Denver, Colorado, and this is my podcast where I talk to friends about mostly art and stuff. I think I want to call it Why Are You Like This because I really like to deconstruct things. I think taking things apart and figuring out how humans tick is, good for us, and I think it will really help me build a mutant army one day to take over the local Costco. That's beside the point, though. Anyway, so we're going to just kind of jump right into the first episode. I have my good friend, producer extraordinaire, Amotbeats from Kingman, Arizona on. And he had me on his podcast as the first guest a few weeks ago or something like that. So it felt only right to sort of return the favor, and me and him have good talks. The thing about this talk is after we got off air, we kept talking for like another hour, and that could have been another podcast and maybe a better one, but I still think this is a good talk. Lots of droning on about like horror movies. That was fun. So be sure to check out Amot's podcast. It's Pirate Radio Kingman. Look that up. That's a blast. It's probably better than this one. But still listen to this one first. And I will play a song of Amot's at the end of the episode. So if you like it, hit him up for beats or buy his instrumental albums or just bow down to the man when you see him walking down the street, Anyway, without further ado, here's my talk with Amotbeats.
Why are you like this? Why are you like this? Why are you like this? Hey, why are you like this?
Tonight I ate pizza crust. I ate all my kids' pizza crust, and I made slushies.
How do you make slushies?
I go to Sonic, dude, because they have like badass ice, and like I get their ice and I just put it in the blender, throw a little grenadine in there and some strawberry lime, or what is it, cherry limeade, a little bit of that in there. You know what I'm saying?
All right, so wait, you got to make this clear for me. You go to Sonic and you just like order like what, a cup of ice?
No, you order a bag of ice. They got like the best ice ever.
That must be some Arizona shit. For those that don't know, I'm in Denver right now. Amot is in Arizona. That's why this is over the phone. And I noticed there's a lot of like differences between states. Maybe that's some Arizona shit because I've never heard of that.
No, that's just like my shit. Like that's just what I do. Like I don't know anybody else who does that really. I just saw that they had ice one day, and I like think Sonic has like the best ice ever. They make these little ice pellets.
Oh,
so,
right.
Like,
okay, I can see that. You're just that dude. Like, you guys sell that ice? They're like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, no, it has a sign that says like ice, and then it has the price on it or whatever. So I was like, let's get a bag of ice, now I just buy that shit regularly.
Yeah, I feel like that's some Arizona shit. So like in Portland, when I went there, there's so many things that are different. Like, you're not allowed to pump your own gas in Oregon, apparently.
Yeah, I know. That trips me out, dude. Like some guy, like, when I went there, because my wife was living there when I was in the Army. She's living there with her mom temporarily. And anyhow, so I got out and I was like, we were driving back to New York where I was stationed, and I went out to pump my gas, and some like kids, some like 16-year-old kids, like start yelling at me, and I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, like, what are you up in my face for, guy? Like, he's like, you can't pump your own gas. It's against the law. Like, you tell me I'm going to get arrested if I pump my own gas? He's like, well, kind of. Yeah, well,
Yeah, it was a trip,
yelling
dude.
at me.
Yeah, it was a trip. I was in someone else's car and like some like lady just walked up and I was like, "What is this chick want? Is she gonna ask us for money?" And she's just like, "Oh, you gotta pop your thing for me or whatever." It was the weirdest thing. Like they had to explain that to me. Like it's supposed to create jobs or whatever, but it really just creates like angry people that want to pump their own gas.
Yeah, I can see that, though. I mean, I get it, but I kind of like pumping my own gas.
Yeah, I feel you. The weirdest thing they had
Makes me
there,
feel like a grown-up, you know?
for sure. The weirdest thing they had there was they have a coffee place. It's like a normal little coffee stand, right? But it's a girl working in there, always a girl, and she's in like her underwear basically. I forget what the name of it is. It's like Bikini something or other, Bikini Brew or
Is
something.
it Bikini Beans or something like that?
Something like that, dude. But it's like
They have one of
basically
those-
the Hooters of coffee. Like it was tripping me
Yeah, no,
out.
they have one of those in I think Phoenix too. I've never been there, but I've heard about that also.
Yeah, it was pretty weird, and let me say the coffee wasn't that great.
I'm
And she
sure
was
they're
brewing
full
it
of
at
coffee.
pube level. I don't know how like sanitary that is, but maybe it's fine. I don't know.
They don't have pubes.
Well, shit, man. So we're both producers. I'm always really interested in producer talk. I think we kind of know what each other uses. You sort of know that I tend to go back and forth between hardware and like the software shit. I know you use Fruity Loops, but what else is in your setup right now that's like pretty essential to the way you usually make beats?
All right, well, I've been miking my own stuff a lot lately, like kicks and snares and just like, I guess just little noises here and there. Like I was banging on a mason jar the other day and I recorded that. And, basically I play my own drums sometimes, like I'd say about 50% of the time. And then, I record them and I mic the drums, I record them. And then I have like a whole mixing and mastering session on just the drums alone. So that I can resample them. And I usually either resample them straight into my Slice X on FL Studio, or I use the machine because I don't know, it just gives me different vibes. I basically just use a drum machine. I usually use it as a machine as a controller, or I just use the machine and play a song out and then track it out and bring it back into FL Studio.
Okay, word. Yeah, I was gonna
Chop it
ask
up.
because I've never used Machine, but like I was wondering if you can use that controller independently with another program. It seems like you can, but I've never.
Yeah, you can. No, you can. I just use that and a keyboard, really, and mics. Like I have a bunch of mics, and I just depends on what feel I'm going for. I might use a dynamic mic, or I might go for like an omnidirectional, or I might go for like, typical condenser mic. It just depends.
Yeah, I think that's what's cool about your setup. Like you're also a very good engineer, and that's something I feel like I lack, even though I've done like I interned for an engineer, I've read up a lot of shit, but I don't really have the tools to make that happen in the same way, and like I think that's super beneficial for a producer.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I have a mic pre. I have a mic pre that I like a lot. It's the Grace M101. I really like that one a lot.
Yeah, it sounds amazing.
Well, it helps. It helps like with the, it helps with the audio sound a little. I mean, it's pretty clean. Like it's really clean actually. I don't ever really get a whole lot of negative distortion. I like it a lot. So.
Yeah, but I think this is a good example because like everything you're saying right now, I feel like 90% of rappers and producers like have no idea what you're talking about right now, and like I think that's not the worst thing in the world most of the time, but I think people need to add more tools to their belt, so to speak.
Well, I think a lot of people have great intentions. Like, I mean, I know earlier on when I was starting out, I had great intentions on what I wanted to do. I couldn't manifest it. I think I was focused so much on that war between loudness or dynamics. Everybody was, I worked with older engineers that were like, oh, it's all about the dynamics, that have good dynamic range and depth and this and that. And then I've talked to other people and it's like, louder, you know?
Oh yeah, no, especially in the hip
and-
hop world, everyone wants it
Oh,
louder.
for sure. But I mean, I think I came to this realization. It's about shaping audio. It's not so much about loudness or quietness or I mean, I think it is really deeply about dynamic range. Like, you really do need to have good range, I think, to have a nice full song. I mean, some stuff has to be quiet. Okay, I'll put it to you this way, man. I grew up, my dad's a drummer. I started playing drums. I remember when I first started, I was banging the shit out of the drums. Like, you know, I don't know, dude, I damn near breaking them shits. That's what I felt like. But my dad told me, he said, just remember, play them as soft as you play them hard. You know, you gotta be able to be gentle with them, and you know, when the time's right, you know, beat the shit out of them. You know, so
yeah, that's a good metaphor right there, honestly, for like the
and
mixing
I carried
process.
that through. I carried it through with that understanding. Like when I've made music, it was always like, you know, I don't always just want to have it, you know, bang. Like, there's got to be something else in there, because, you know, you hit a drum soft, it sounds different than when you hit it hard.
Right.
You know? And that's with most instruments too. I mean, you could blow on a saxophone, or you could, you know, be real gentle with it, you know? I mean,
Yeah, and that's true. I'm struggling with that because I'm the dynamics guy. I'm like, no, everything needs to be lush, and I need to be able to tell these different volumes and frequencies apart. And I feel like I get so hung up on that minutia that when it's time to like turn it up, it doesn't sound right to me anymore.
Well, it's true though. No, it's true that you lose that sometimes. Like I mean, mixing and mastering are two different animals, and I think sometimes people get it mixed up. It's like mixing and mastering goes together. It doesn't. It really doesn't.
Right.
Like, you can. I mean, you can do it simultaneously. Like, you can mix and then master at the same time. I mean, I do songs like that all the time on FL Studio, but that's only because my computer, number one, can handle it, and you know, number two, it's like, you know, I've been doing it so long, and I kind of have a pretty good understanding on it, and it depends. Sometimes I do it the old way, and I bounce it out, and it's all good and tracked out and mixed well, and everything's where I want it to be, and then I'll master it. Or, you know, sometimes I'll just bump it out to a stereo track and master from there, you know, leaving it with some headroom.
Yeah, a lot of times I just have like my mastering application open in my mix. So, because a lot of times when I'm mastering, I'm just like, oh, fuck that snare. That needs to go way down. And that's probably not the best way to do it, but I get OCD as fuck with audio. How do you get over that? Like the audio OCD?
I just make sure it sounds the way I want it to sound, and I don't stop until it sounds that way. I mean, I've spent a week on a song, you know, I've spent an hour on a song, you know, and that's for mixing and mastering also. It just depends. Sometimes I nail it the first time, depending on the integrity of the sounds that I'm working with, and sometimes it takes me a long time because, you know, I do mix a lot of songs. Like, I might mix between 3, you know, and 8 songs in a day, you know, or make like, you know, between 3 and 6 beats a day, or sometimes I might make no beats and just mix. It depends, man. It depends what I have on my plate. But like,
right,
my ears do get tired, man, and I get fatigued. It's not just my ears, but my brain, dude, just baked. And sometimes I just need to take a day or two off unless I have deadlines, you know.
Yeah, that's probably smart.
It's tough too, because, you know, you got to balance life too. You can't. I mean, I've dedicated a lot to music, and I try to dedicate just as much to my family. So it's a tough balance from time to time, you know?
Well, that's good, man. That's what I struggle with, because, like, I wouldn't say I'm a non-attentive father, but, like, I have so many moments where I'm just like, yeah, go watch cartoons. Daddy's got a rap in the closet now. And I sometimes I just feel bad. Like, she lets me know too. She's like, I'm bored. I want to like go on a walk or something. And I'm like, hold on, I got to turn this mixer knob up.
Yeah, well, it's different for you though, because, you know, you just have her. I have 5 daughters, so they entertain each other, you know.
Okay, I was gonna say that sounds harder, but actually, I guess that makes a lot of sense.
It has its pluses and minuses, man, for sure. You know, but it's cool. Like, I dig it. I dig the fact that, like, they're all, you know, pretty close in age, so they take care of each other and it just trickles down, you know. So
Yeah, see, that's good. My kids just always like looking for friends every single day.
yeah, I hear that.
Single
Yeah,
child
my kids will talk to random strangers, dude. Like my daughter Nayeli, right? She, like, we'll go to the grocery store and she'll read someone's name tag and be like, "Hey, Sally, how's it going?" And like, you know, she'll look at her like, "What the hell?" Like,
Oh, I would hate that.
so
My
nice.
daughter's pretty like out there too, but not that much. I would hate that.
Yeah, no, she's just so nice, man. Like she's just
No, that's a good thing.
too
That
nice.
shows like she's interested in people and like what they have to say, and that's like a caring trait. But that would just
well, yeah,
like
I told her, I like, you know, like, 'cause, you know, being around business people, that, you know, you always are told when you meet somebody, remember their name. So the next time you see them, you didn't seem dismissive. Whether they remember your name or not, it doesn't matter. It's the
Right.
fact that you're able to remember their name, where you met, and stuff like that. And anyway, I told her that one day. I was like, you know, it's important to remember someone's name when you meet them. And she, like, literally holds on to that. She will let you know she remembered your name. Like, "Hey, Sally."
yeah, that's really good.
It's just interesting, dude. She's like, all my kids are different. You know, like my oldest, she's an artist. She's out there, dude. She's like me, dude. Gets distracted real easy. You know, loses focus quickly, but what she's interested in, she'll like dedicate all her energy to. Nayeli, like I said, she's just real kind. She's like the sweetest person ever. Lauren is just, she's like, we call her Baby Hulk, man. She's just wild. She's like strong and funny and goofy and just makes everybody laugh, dude. She's a clown. And then, you know, Melody's still just little, dude. She's just a little princess. And then my youngest is just knocks things over and like laughs and run around naked. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's crazy that you could do more than one kid. I guess that's probably because you're married too. That probably helps to have another person. Like, we should do it. But for me, I was like, that's enough. One of these is enough.
I always wanted a lot of kids, man. I don't know. I've always wanted to be a dad, you know, since I was a little kid.
Yeah. Same here. Honestly, I was like that too. But when it got like to the point where like, by the time my daughter was 3, I was like, I'm never doing this again. And not because like I don't enjoy every second of it. It's more just like, you know, that like dread you have when you have a kid, like every second you're like, something could happen to him. I feel like when you have,
then you're like, shit.
yeah, I feel like when you have more kids, maybe that multiplies. Maybe I'm wrong on that though. Does that like multiply times 5 if you have 5 kids?
At times it does. Like, I mean, like, to be fair, I have more good times than I have tough ones with the kids. Like, they're well behaved, man. My kids are good kids, but I mean, I think I'm also a strict parent. You know, I was in the military, you know, and I've always kind of had a sense of discipline in myself, you know, but I mean, it's like, I just don't want my kids to make the same mistakes I did, because, you know, I got in trouble a lot when I was younger, and I made a lot of, like, very poor decisions that, you know, had me sleeping in a car in Phoenix in the summertime, and this is, I guess, dealing with people that I probably shouldn't have been dealing with. And
yeah, I think me and you are similar in that way, but I don't know what your background is, but I came from like a really nice house, but I was just like a latchkey kid. I think I was bored, so I was just like, oh yeah, let's hang out with the drug dealers and shit. Like, where do you think that came from in you, basically?
Well, I think for me, I grew up in a beach town, man. I grew up in Carpinteria, California, and you know, I spent most of my life there in Santa Barbara, and occasionally Oxnard and Ventura, and, you know, sometimes LA. Like, it just, I just went around, you know, different places. Wherever my friends were, that's where we went, you know. And I don't know, my life when I was younger was kind of interesting. Like, you know, my mom loved me a lot, but I came from, you know, a divorced family. My dad worked a lot. He wasn't around a lot. So, you know, me and my sisters get in trouble. And, you know, we basically were unsupervised kids, dude, for a long time. And,
same here. I think that's where a lot of that comes from sometimes. I wonder if it's just like boredom, or you're just like, someone noticed me. Like I
think we just were creative kids anyway, you know, like, but it's like, you know, when I was 16, I didn't, you know, my dad's like, I took it as he kicked me out, but that's not what happened. What happened was he was like, you don't like it, get the fuck out. So I split, you know?
Right.
Stayed with friends pretty much most of the time. And, I was out the house basically when I was like 16, just kind of roaming around and off and on, in and out of the house, dude. Like I'd stay at my dad's and he'd kick me out, or I'd fucking take it as him kicking me out. And
Right.
my mom was, doing her thing, and she was trying to be as supportive as possible, which, I love my mom for that. And,
I used to just show up for like
now.
food, basically. Be like, let me make a burrito real quick, then I'm out. I'm gonna go skate around the neighborhood for the rest of the day.
Yeah, no, that's how it was with my mom. She's just like, hey, if you're hungry, come by. The cupboards are always there. So me and my buddies would go up there and we'd eat all our food. I'd cook her like strange meals that were like actually pretty good. Like I cooked her like salmon and eggs and stuff.
Yeah, that's good, man. My mom was so old she didn't want to cook anything or have anything cooked for her. She didn't care. I'm like the youngest of like 5. My mom had me when she was like 30. So she was so done with kids by then.
Well, it's, that's kind of, in a way, I mean, again, like that, there's positives and negatives, I think, by raising yourself mostly, I think whatever adds to your character is a good thing, as long as you're aware of like how things affect you and try to understand why you are the way you are and psychoanalyze yourself a little bit from time to time. I don't think that's a bad thing,
No, I think it creates artists though in a way, because I was talking to a friend about this the other day, and like he's from the same neighborhood as me. We grew up sort of not together, but in the same environment. And his was the same way. Like, his mom's just gone all the day. And it's kind of like, oh, what do we do? And we both got in trouble a lot. And then somewhere we evened out and, like, found art, I guess. Was that sort of your experience, too, with, like, beat making? Like, you just found this thing eventually?
Well, for me, growing up, I had 2 younger sisters. I didn't have any brothers, and I've always kind of been a homebody, man, kind of like kind of a hermit in a way. I mean, I went out and I partied and I did stuff, but I mean, I always preferred to be at home because I felt like I could be the most productive there. Like whether it was like growing mentally, spiritually, or just artistically. Like I've always drawn. Like I started out drawing Ninja Turtles and shit. Like and like trying to draw action figures from like comic books, and I always drew my own characters because I'm not very good at copying. Like I was never good at copying, pictures and drawing them like that. I couldn't do it for some reason. And I always just created original stuff, and that was kind of my therapy, man. That, and I wrote a lot of poetry, and that was kind of like my outlet, because I didn't think anybody really cared what I had to say, or I was a kid,
right?
Nobody cares what a kid has to say. That's how I felt,
No, no one. Well, it's true, because I think grown-ups learn to tune you out. But that's funny, man, because like I think me and you know each other, but I'm learning right now that we have way more in common. Because I was the same kid. I was just like, I'm gonna draw all day. I'm gonna write things, and just like, I don't know. Maybe that's why we became producers. Because I'm a rapper and producer, but I spend more time producing for sure. And I wonder if that's like a symptom of like the homebody thing you were talking about, because I'm the same way.
It's just I never felt I think that might definitely be part of it. I think it's just when you're not interested. It's like, don't get me wrong, I don't dislike people, but I definitely would rather not be around a lot of people. I guess and everybody's like, oh, I have social anxiety and shit. I don't really think it's that for me. I don't think I have like social anxiety, but I think it's just like I'd rather be around people that, I guess, that I feel like I can share moments with and have it not be just another like small talk situation, like I'd rather have something meaningful in a conversation, or like really like kind of bond with someone, like whether they're a good friend or my wife or even my kids, man. It's just, or a family member. Like I don't look at life in like time and years and stuff. I really just try to focus on it as moments. Like, how many moments do you have left in life before you can really say that you lived a fully fulfilled life, So
right.
That's just, I don't know, that's just kind of how I've always seen it. And I think that's kind of why I don't like being around people. I feel like sometimes it's a waste of time, but I mean, I'm not opposed to it. You know what I mean? It's just, I prefer being around people that can appreciate that moment,
right?
Instead of just
how do you strike the balance? Because here's what I struggle with. I agree with you. Like, you gotta live the life worth living and shit. But, like, for me, I spend so much time, like, secluded with my beats and my raps or whatever. And, like, sometimes I feel like that's not a life. It's, like, a means of working up to a life that maybe won't materialize. And, like, I don't know. How do you, like, reconcile the two of those? You know what I mean?
I try to get out. I get out of the house. Whether it's something as small as taking my kids to the park or like trying to go camping or I take a lot of trips, man, if I can, if the timing's right and if, my pocketbook says it's okay. I like to travel and with the family, and I mean, I don't know, I just got to make sure that the people I care about are happy and that I'm also happy. So, I mean, for me, the balance is, I guess, just feeling like I didn't do such a bad job today.
No, that's a good way to put it. Like, if you could do a little thing every day that you're like, yeah, I didn't completely, like, fuck this day away. That's good.
I mean, it's about the small wins for me, man. Like, when I was younger, I used to, it was all about doing it big, you know what I'm saying? Like, always, like, going for the next biggest and baddest thing, or, like, really outdoing myself, or, like, oh, I did 20 beats today, like, that's all good and everything, but I mean, I'd rather nowadays, like, have a nice day with my kids when they take a nap or fall asleep. I'll jump in the studio and knock out maybe 2 beats, and they're both pretty damn good. Like, I mean, that's how I feel anyway. Like, wow, these are pretty good ones. These ones are all right. I think I'm going to send it to this person, or I'm going to hide this one because it's, like, really good. So, like, I don't know. This is kind of how I feel.
No,
about
it's good to have a balance. I feel like I'm always somewhere in between that of, like, today's either, like, a go hard in the paint music day, or it's, like, a don't touch anything and spend time with your kid type of situation. Or errands, if there's any of that shit to do,
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, I don't know, dude. I think a lot of times, like, people generally just get caught up in their thoughts, or they don't think at all. Like, I don't know. I have some friends that just don't seem to think about shit. They're just like, yeah, let's get drunk. And, like, dude, I wish it was that easy for me, but it's not. Like,
no, it's self-awareness, because, like, my friends are the same way, and I appreciate them, and I love that they're like that, but I don't understand it at all. I don't identify with it. It's like, don't you guys feel the dread, like, circling at every moment of our lives? Do something.
Become a nihilist from time to time.
Yeah, I kind of don't want them to. Like, I don't want them to feel like that, but it's also like, I guess I'm just jealous. That's probably what it is. Of, like, how do you self-medicate yourself to the point through, like, whether it's weed or booze or just, like, lying to yourself, that you can just be like, yeah, everything's cool. I'll just, like, go work for 12 hours today and just, like, drink.
Well, I don't know. It's like I had to realize, like, I realized this the most, like, through, being with my wife for as many years as we've been together. It's just, it came to a point where it's like I had unrealistic expectations, from her, my kids, and, we went through some tough times and stuff. Like, I'm not going to elaborate too much on that, but I'll put it this way, man. It got to this point where she told me, she's like, look, I'm not you. I'm not the same kind of person as you. Like, we think differently. Like, with, you just got to understand that and respect that we're not the same person. So you can't expect me to think how you think, and it's like, that was a real big eye opener for me. And I realized that through that's true, man. Like, people do not think the way I think, and people don't think the way you think, and you don't think the way they think. And it's like, I think I've always known that, but just hearing that from someone I care about,
Yeah, that's maybe what it is, because everyone is the star of their own movie.
Yeah, and I've said it once, I'll say it again, dude. Like, people are people, life just is, and that's the truth. So, I mean, everything else in between is just, the shades, the different shades of colors, basically.
Yeah, no, that's a good way to put it. So you were telling me earlier, like, you grew up on some good horror movies, which I'm super interested in, because that's my jam.
Oh, yeah, dude, Evil Dead, Nightbreed.
That's my absolute favorite right there.
Freddy Krueger movies. I don't know, Jason, you know what I'm saying?
If you had to pick, like, an absolute favorite, what would it be?
Army of Darkness, dude.
Yes, I fuck with that. I would say Evil Dead 2 for me,
it's
but
so funny.
nah, it's such a great movie because it's like Evil Dead 2
That
was
was
just
amazing.
Evil Dead 2 was kind of like the precursor to that of just like,
Oh yeah.
oh, it's a
Yeah.
horror movie and we're going to turn it silly. And then somehow it evolved into that and they were like, nah, we're just going to kind of make an action movie out of it but have it be the same character. And we're going to make him like a little stupider.
I loved it because it's like, he's flying through the forest and you see the wires and it's like you see the pads when he lands. Like,
oh yeah, dude.
So,
no,
it's hilarious.
Sam Raimi movies, dude. I swear, like people kind of don't get this. You either love them or you hate them. But for me, Sam Raimi movies are high art. He's literally the embodiment of a person that's just like, I want to make something, so I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it my way, and I don't care if other people don't like it.
Yeah, well, for me, like how I got into it though, like I had my uncle Joseph. He's like, when I was growing up, he watched us a lot, me and my sisters, and he wasn't supposed to show me scary movies, so he wouldn't show me all the gory parts, but he'd show me some of the movies, and hey, don't tell your mom I'll let you watch this. Anyway, but he was, I watched parts of like Phantasm and like Hellraiser and like Nightbreed, like a bunch, dude, so many great scary movies. But like that's how I really got interested in it. It's just for some reason I knew it wasn't real, but it's like the gore and I feel like the artistry behind that movie makeup and stuff was just so amazing to me. Like, I mean,
yeah, exactly. Like, it registers on like a level of the brain of like this is art. Because that's how I felt the first time I saw Evil Dead. It was terrifying to me when I was a kid. Like, when you get older, you realize how, like, kind of stupid the movie is, and then it just becomes funny. But as a kid, it was kind of scary. And when I learned that it was just, like, a bunch of kids that rented a cabin and made a movie because they wanted to, I was like, are you serious? You can do that?
Yeah, for me, I think the greatest character created was Predator, dude. Like, I mean, I'm saying as a movie character that wasn't CG, that was an actual person in a suit, like
so menacing.
It was, yeah, dude. And, I mean, the mask, like when I was a kid, I was like, dang, I wish I had a Predator mask.
Yeah, he looked really badass. Like that, I think that's the thing, like that we're getting at about horror movies is they're so visceral. Like you have to have a reaction of some sort when you're watching them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it sounds a bit. I mean, I even go back as far as like Toxic Avenger.
Yes.
Like corny but awesome.
But also like the beginning of that movie, like they're running over the kids for like, and they have the point system for like how many people they hit with the car. Like that either makes you laugh or like gasp and go, "Holy shit, I'm never watching this again."
No, that's why it was like. At the time, like, I mean, I think it came out even before I was born, but I watched it. I was born in '84. I really don't know when that movie came out, but I do remember watching it as a kid and thinking it was the greatest thing ever. And I wasn't supposed to watch that movie.
No, that's one of the worst ones for
Todd's
sure.
House, yeah. I watched it at my homie Todd's house, and I think it was Todd. It might have been someone else, but I'm pretty sure. Anyway, that was pretty cool.
No, and I think that's the other part of it, especially when you're a kid, because that's where all my memories are tied. It was like, just the taboo of it, because my mom didn't really care, but it wasn't like, yeah, I'm not going to buy you horror movies, you know what I mean? Like, I had to sneak into my brother's collection and watch all his shit while everyone was asleep. And something about, like, this is wrong. Like, everyone's going to be mad at me for watching this. Like, something about that kind of sticks with you.
Yeah, do you remember that movie Critters?
Yeah, I really liked Critters when I was younger. That's one of the ones that hasn't aged well with me at all.
Yeah, it was like that and Leprechaun, like when I was a lot younger. I thought those were pretty cool.
Yeah, the first Leprechaun I could still fuck with. They got, like, progressively sillier as they went along. They're kind of just like comedy movies now.
Yeah, but I'm definitely a big fan of horror movies, man. The thing is, I can't watch them as much because I have kids, and, like, it's hard to get away and watch a good horror movie without, like, I mean, American Werewolf in London 2 is probably one of my favorites.
That movie is like a fucking Picasso. Like, that movie should be in a museum on a loop. It's so good. I watched it the other week. You're a better parent than me, though, because I'll say I let my daughter watch it with me.
Well, does she trip though? Like, does she wake up freaking out?
No, and that's why. Like a while ago, I let her watch Evil Dead 2 with me, and like I went through it with her. I was like, it's special makeup, and the movie looks corny enough. You know, we watched the special features, like see how he has the monster movie makeup. But she's hardcore, like more than I was at her age. Like nothing phases her. So I was like, all right, she could fuck with American Werewolf in London, and she kind of got bored at most of it, to be honest. But
yeah, that's serious. Yeah, you know what? That's another thing though too. I don't think my kids have the patience for the dialogue and build up of a story in a lot of like really good movies.
They're so slow at first, yeah.
Yeah, they're not. If there's not like action or something happening or someone talking, like it's just like, what are we watching? You know?
Yeah, I think that's part of like another part of the beauty of a horror movie is like most of them do start off slow, and they start that way for a reason because you have an expectation going in your head.
You know
like,
what, though,
when is shit gonna pop off?
Cinematic shots, you know?
Yeah.
The slow cinematic shots are awesome. Like it really kind of builds up the tension for me. Like I don't know, I have the patience for it. I think too is. Some people will just find a movie boring because it's just too slow for them. But I like the build of a story and the slow cinematic shots. They don't really do them like that as much now. I notice like everything's fast, you know, cuts, you know, from one.
Oh
scene.
yeah, well horror movies suck now. It's all just like there's a ghost in this house. It's taken over this girl, or whatever. Like I don't know. It's all just ghost stories now, which I guess scares some people. But I'm not into it for being scared. Like.
You know what else too? Vampires got. I mean, dude, I'm okay. I don't want anybody who's listening to take this the wrong way, but vampires are pussies now. Like,
of course they are.
They used to be so badass, like Lost Boys, dude. Even before that, like Dracula. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, I will say
that were awesome.
The two for me are John Carpenter's Vampires, which is probably my favorite one, and then Diary of a Vampire. Do you remember that? With Brad Pitt.
Yeah, I actually just watched that the other day.
That movie is great. That's a great movie, and those vampires are kind of sissy, but they're like also badass. That's probably the way to do
the story.
Vampire.
Yeah, the story's different. Even Interview with the Vampire, I think, was a pretty damn good movie.
Oh wait, that's the one I'm thinking of. I fucked up my words on that.
No, I know what movie you're talking about.
Yeah. Interview. There you go.
No, but that's a good movie. Like the storyline's good. This is a good movie, yeah, overall. Like, I thought it was always a really good movie.
Yeah, I think there's been a decline with them, like, lately. I wonder what that's, like,
zombie movies,
to.
Too, man. Like, I fucking love zombies, dude. Like, you've seen my shirt already. Like, I found some free, zombie vector, or Halloween vectors, and I, chopped them up a little bit and kind of made it my own design with it. Like using some of those, but that's what I'm saying. Like I love zombies, you know.
All right. Like what is your favorite zombie movie? Because I could talk about this for days.
I like Day of the Dead a lot. I like Night of the Living Dead too. Not the original one.
Yeah, the Tom Savini remake.
Yeah, that was a really good one.
That was probably my favorite one when I was a kid. I like the original a little better now, but Day of the Dead is cool too. That had the best
like
gore.
No, I mean, yeah, I'm not discrediting the original, but like, I like the remake a little.
It was
better.
More for our generation, like that. I still put that in like my top probably 3 favorites of all time. You know.
Yeah, Zombieland was pretty good too. I think
that was probably the last really contemporary one that I kind of like. Me, I'm a Dawn of the Dead guy. I love the original Dawn of the Dead so much.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Dawn of the Dead is probably one of the best ones. I mean, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's just something about that movie that they made it so apparent of like the zombies are a danger. They're taking over the world, but like. They're slow and they're bumbling, and you can kind of have fun with it. You have moments of like humanity in between that. You're not getting chased 24/7. You know.
Yeah. You know what? I saw this new like I said, I love zombies. I'll watch anything that says zombie in it. Like if it sucks or whatever, I don't even care. But like I watched Zombievers. It was so stupid, but it was like awesome.
That looks stupid and like awesome because I love really campy shit if it's done right.
It really is though, you know, and you know I have to say like even Zombieland was kind of tight. Reason being, because I don't know, man. It wasn't super traditional. Like I kind of like comedy. You know, I like comedy and horror.
Well, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is I think the reason they do movies like that is comedy and horror go so well together. It's like a juxtaposition of like, oh shit, everyone's dying and this is terrible, and you're like confronted with morality. And then there's the other side of that, which is like laughter. It's like the comedy and tragedy masks.
Shaun of the Dead is a prime example.
Oh, Shaun of the Dead is amazing. I rewatched it like a couple weeks ago with my kid for the first time in a while, and like that movie's such like a love letter to zombie movies and just its own thing at the same time. Yeah,
for sure. I you know what? Like, but I think when it really got badass was like 28 Days Later. Like that's when it was like a whole other thing. Like zombies were just different at that point, you know? 28 Days Later, it was like, I think it was like around 2000 when it came out, or like 2000. It was like, I think it was before I graduated high school, so it must have been like 2002 or 2003, I think it came out. And 28 Days Later was like a game changer with like zombie movies for me. I thought that was just the best shit.
See, that's funny because I did not like that. I agree with you though. It
really?
was a game changer, but for me in the wrong way. Because it was so much like, holy shit, run from these zombies, they're gonna fuck you up, you know, instead of just like Shaun of the Dead, like I could stand there and throw records at them.
I mean, they weren't really even technically zombies, were they? Like, I guess it was a zombie movie, but...
Sort of, yeah. It was like some sort of like biological warfare, like turned people rabid or something along those lines.
Yeah, it's like, I think it was like infected mad monkey or something like that. Mad ape.
Yeah, but you're right. It changed like the blueprint of like what a zombie movie is kind of like supposed to be now. Not many people do like old style zombies anymore.
Yeah, like okay, well, the two Dawn of the Dead movies, I think, were still both. I think they were both pretty good. The second one, obviously, like the remake, definitely wasn't as good. But you know,
it was like entertaining to a point, but it wasn't like. For me, it didn't like fill me with any like sense of humanity or anything. It was just like, oh, people got blasted, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of, it was more entertainment than like a social statement. Because George A. Romero was making like statements about society through zombies, you know? And they don't really do that anymore.
Yeah, it's definitely different. It's different game. Like nowadays, I think with movies, I think World War Z. I want to hear your opinion before I say how I feel about it. What is your opinion on World War Z?
I think they sort of tried to make it in that vein. Like it's sort of like a reflection of like where people think the world's heading in a lot of ways. But I don't know. Something about it just rubbed me the wrong way. It just felt more like entertainment, you know?
Oh yeah, no, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Is I think it was very entertaining and the storyline was pretty good. And I don't know, dude. I like Brad Pitt. I think that dude's awesome.
He's a great actor.
Yeah. Well, it's because, like, okay, he's like, I remember when, you know, in his heyday, it's like all the dudes thought he was badass and all the chicks wanted him. You know what I mean? So he's like, he hits both markets pretty hard, you know? And I don't know. I think he's a pretty good actor. He's badass in Fight Club.
No, he's really good. There's a few movies. We were just saying, Interview with a Vampire. He's so good in that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like most of his movies, honestly. I mean...
Yeah, he's one of those actors that, like, you can always point to, like, oh, he did a good job in that.
Yeah, for sure. But, yeah, World War Z, okay, like, I liked it in the terms of, like, it being a really entertaining movie. Like, the graphics with the zombies, like, a wave, like, that was cool, kind of. I thought that was pretty badass.
Yeah, visually it was like pretty cool. I don't know. It just had no like substance to it. You know what I mean? It's like a girl at a bar that's super hot but has nothing to say.
Yeah.
You're just like, yeah, I'll stab it, but I don't want to talk to you for like any more time than that takes.
I think too. You know what? Another thing I noticed too, obviously, because I'm an audio guy, like movie scores are so different now. Like with horror movies. It's like
they used to be the best.
Oh yeah, because you had the you know, these guys were using like, you know, mini moogs and they were using like all kinds of like, you know, synthesizers.
Dope shit, dude. John Carpenter.
The movie
John Carpenter is the master of like 80s fucking synth music. People don't even know.
Man, you know how dope that would be to get him on an album?
Oh man, I would cry. That'd be amazing.
You know what I'm saying? Like dude, one of us needs to reach out to him, or somebody does, and just be like, "Yo, I need you to get down on this
Do
with
some
me,
raps
and we're
with
gonna
us."
collaboration."
Yeah, that would be amazing. Well, shit, dude, we're running out of time here, but you want to give everyone your social media plugs and whatever else you want to say?
Yeah, well, just look up. I'll put it this way. I mean, I have so much stuff out there. I can name off a bunch of stuff. Just Google search Amotbeats, one word, AMOTBEATS. You can find me on YouTube, stuff that I've done. I'm on Bandcamp, so if you go to Bandcamp, just same thing, Amotbeats, one word. And I mean, I do have a SoundCloud. I honestly don't maintain it much because I don't know. I'm just not really into it as much as I used to be. I'd rather just kind of work and lay low and, you know, put stuff out in the channels that I like, you know. And I'm not about, you know, trying to reach a million people, just people that I think really dig what I do.
Hell yeah, man. That's the way to do it.
Amotbeats, one word.
Y'all heard it. Amotbeats, one word. All right, thanks for doing this, man. It was good talk.
All right, brother. I'll get at you soon.
Catch y'all later.